Yo, welcome to another Tyson's Alchemy, and today I'm going to be teaching you all about energy and how to become unlimited with all the sources. Now, I'm not just talking about light bulb energy and that light shining on me, which is a source of energy. I'm talking about frequencies, sounds, and multiple other sources that you might not be aware of. But as someone that has studied energy, self-hypnosis and the mind, I'm about to teach you how to harness all the sources. So, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. If you're not in Tyson's Alchemy group to learn all the inner details, hit the links below. Right. Step 1 is physical energy. Are you avoiding your sleep? Are you sleeping properly? Now, all those dorks out there that tell you that you don't need your sleep and you should just keep working, no sleep. Alright? Now pay close attention. Those guys that keep saying that and that actually mean it, they're not just saying it in jest, they are fucking idiots. Okay? Because you cannot perform to your maximum potential if you have ruined your sleep. If you are short on sleep. Now I'm not saying you need 8 and 9 hours. What I am saying is that sleep is very crucial for your physical well-being, your physical growth, muscle repair, and getting all the shit out your body. When you're asleep, your body is trying to get rid of all the toxins that you've built in over the day. Now, the more you disregard your sleep, the less chance you have of waking up the next day full of beans and ready to go. Okay? So do not disregard sleep. Yes, I'm aware sometimes you need to hustle, sometimes you need to keep going, work through the night. I'm like that myself. And I'm also aware that some people are so wired, whether it's through their own caffeine addiction or their own magnetic creative self, coming out with $1 million ideas all the time, that sometimes they can struggle to switch off and go to sleep. But I have found the answer to that. So if you struggle to sleep and you're always wired and you've got ideas, stay tuned for this video, because at the end I will give you the secret sauce to make sure that you always fall asleep. And no, it doesn't involve drugs or anything crazy, okay? But it does always work. So if you want to know, stick to the end and I'll tell you that. So rule number 1 is just be aware of your sleep. Don't need to sleep perfectly, but you need your sleep if you want to feel energized the next day. Okay. Second source of energy is sound, music. Now we all know we've been in that situation, whether it's driving or at work or in the shop, where a song comes on and you remember it makes you feel good, you like that song, or it's a new song and you've never heard it before. Maybe you're chilling in the elevator, ding, 99th floor, and some song comes on and you're feeling the song a little bit. It's making you feel a certain way. So there are music choices out there that will make you feel uplifted, upbeat. That is a source of energy, okay? Music is just frequency going into your sound barriers, okay? So think of it this way. You've got like a little antenna on top of your head, a little signal that receives the sound waves in. Obviously it's these, but just paint a picture. Not all music will hit your antenna and will connect with you. Some of it won't. I'll give you an example. Okay, my G in the group, 𝐷𝐿, who runs my crypto network, he likes Slipknot heavy metal. Yeah, I'm not that into it. The odd song, maybe, but whenever I hear it, although I can physically hear that it's high energy, it just doesn't do anything. It doesn't hit my antenna the way it hits his. When he listens to it, he gets energized. He loves it. Makes him want to trade all day and do his shit. Right? That's fine. That's 𝐷𝐿. Okay. I kind of enjoy a different type of music. Yeah, I've spoken about in the past, like Kanye West and rap music, and I like all kinds of music, but there's a specific playlist that I have that I know energizes me every time. And there'll be music for you that works for you, and there'll be other music that doesn't. You need to figure that out, because no one's the same. But there is music out there that when it hits your antenna, it will energize you. So use it. Don't listen to it all day. If I plugged in my laptop and left it on charge all day, eventually the battery would go flat and the charge wouldn't work anymore. So all these sources of energy you cannot use all the time, 24/7, because that would make you fucking stupid. So that's rule number 2. Use sound, music. Rule number 3. Sexual primal energy. Okay? We all, as humans, most of us as adults, when we grow up, have a desire to be sexual at some point. Okay? Now, I'm not going to give you the education on why this is. Obviously, we all want to breed at some point, and when you're growing up as a teenager, you want to get your end away, all that good stuff. But sexual primal energy, when you're in control of it, is very powerful. In fact, it's the most powerful, and this is why the elites use it. This is why when they're doing rituals, it's always sex magic. It's the most powerful, potent energy. Now, when a female wants you, and you know she wants you, you can feel the energy. Correct? I hope, if you're watching this, I hope you've been in that situation. If you haven't, then, be a G and level up with my videos and you'll get there. But I'll give you an example of how I use it, okay? Because this isn't about simping over women and watching things online that you shouldn't be watching. This isn't what it means. Okay, my primal energy. So say I'm at the gym, and I'm usually focused on the weights, or I'm with my brothers and I'm training. Now say I'm getting a little bit tired towards the end. I'll glance around the gym, and 9 times out of 10, there'll be a fitty somewhere. Some good-looking women should be wearing lycra, because that's what they do. That's what they wear in the gym. That really tight clothing that they wear. Whoever invented that was definitely a dude. And these women, if it's a good-looking one, will look beautiful. They're working out. They've got the, booty and whatever in all the lycra, looking great. I'll glance over. I'll look at them, and just that glance of seeing them in that situation working out in the lycra will give me thoughts, feelings. It triggers something inside of me. I kind of think of it as like a testosterone spike. Yeah, so I don't sit at the gym and I'm not sitting there wrecked while I'm about to lift my weights. Obviously not. It's a thought process. It triggers a thought, because obviously when you see a beautiful woman, as a man, you know what your thought usually is, whatever it is for you. Hopefully you're not a degrading little pervert, but you know what I mean. There's a primal thought of what you would do with that female in your head. And keep it in your head, because you don't want to get arrested, okay? But that thought triggers energy, if you've trained yourself to think of it correctly, okay? Now, for some idiots and, I don't know, school shooters, maybe it triggers something else. So, if you've got any issues with your sexual energy, this might not be a good idea for you. But this is very, very powerful. Think of when you see the beautiful woman in the gym, just in this example, you could be walking down the street, it could be whatever you want. When you see every time, because I don't go around looking for beautiful women, okay? I'm too busy focused on what I want to focus on. But should I notice one, it will immediately just give me a little surge of energy. It's like a little shock. Psst. I see the beautiful woman. It's like an inner growl. It's like a primal growl, but it's inside. I don't do it outside. I'm not a creep. I don't walk past people growling. But once you can activate that, once you know that's there, and maybe you're in a situation where there's a beautiful woman, maybe you're sat on a train and a beautiful woman sits next to you, it should energize you. You should soak up that energy, especially if they've also noticed you. Okay, but it's not about taking any further. It's not about walking around with your hand on your dick and doing something stupid. But sexual energy is very powerful. It's one of the most powerful ones. And I'll touch on that in more detail in another video. But that's number 3. Okay, number 4 is earth energy. Now, if you take your socks and shoes off and you go walk on the grass, wherever that is to you, your local field, there's lots around here where I live, I hope there's somewhere you are, then you connect with the earth. There's a frequency of the earth. If you stuck a rod in and measured it, you'd find a frequency around 8 hertz. So there's always energy. The earth's always moving, so it has to have energy, right? Well, you connect with it. You can connect with nature. So it's not only walking in, you don't need to walk in bare feet. You can go for a walk in the woods with your shoes and socks on. So I like to walk my dog a lot. So I go walking, and I'll listen to music as well sometimes, so I'm getting double. Or sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll just sit by the water and just soak up that energy. Try meditating outside. Try just sitting, listening to nature. It's very calming. It makes me feel like an old school Viking sometimes. Yeah, because obviously the modern day technology is everywhere. You're online all the time. There's people, there's noise. Sometimes just go somewhere quiet in nature and it will energize you. It will give you a calming sense of assurance where you can calm your thoughts down and re-energize yourself. So rule number 5 is networking energy. So I've said this before, you become who you surround yourself with. So if you start to surround yourself with, say, rich, successful people, then the chances are that will rub off on you and you will become a rich, successful person. This is just universally known by everyone. Everyone knows that you become the sum of the people around you. But why is this a source of energy? Well, if you like the way I speak and you like the way I act and you like my energy, then you should consume more of my content, because you will naturally start to take the energy in that I'm putting out in the world. That's the way it works. If you're watching this and you like someone like Andrew Tate, again, he's high energy. Consume his content, receive the energy, and inject it into yourself, metaphorically, okay? If you can't spend time with rich, successful people, and your goal is to become rich and successful, you need to find them online. Like I've just said, consume their content. But the best version is actually getting in real life situations where you can meet these people. So whatever that is for you, if you can find someone in your local area that's doing something that you aspire to do, or that they're on the same track and path as you as trying to achieve great success, then I implore you to go meet them, go network, because there's a real life kinetic energy. Okay, when I meet rich and successful people, when I meet millionaires, not only do I get to learn their knowledge, I get to soak up their energy. Rich, successful people have an energy, and you can extract it from them. Not stealing, they'll give it to you. Okay, they've got it, they've got an aura, and you can build up your own aura by extracting the energy from them. And if you can't get near anyone, then like I've said, consume the energy of those people that you admire the most. It doesn't mean sit all day and consume, but like I said, you can't do these things 24/7. But I do advise you to watch and align what you're watching with your goals. Right, rule 6 is breath work. Okay, so if you actually start to focus on your breathing and you actually take deep breaths, you can increase your energy almost immediately. So by breathing properly, or by holding your breath for 4 seconds and breathing it back out for 4 seconds, you can reset your nervous system, which in return can energize you. So if you're tired and you know you're feeling a little bit sleepy, if you took 4 deep breaths, you can reset your nervous system. Now, if you haven't slept in ages, then it's obviously you're still going to be a little bit tired. But taking in deep breaths allows your lungs to fully expand and inhale, exhale properly. Now, most people don't do this. You know, I'm speaking now, I'm not taking the opportunity to. Most people don't do that at all. They just go through the day, autopilot breathing, probably through the mouth. If you actually sat and breathed in through your nose, out through your mouth for 5 minutes, maybe did a bit of meditation, you would feel really energized. If you've not fucked up your sleep that day, obviously. So try some breath work. There's also a method called the Wim Hof method. You might have heard of it, which is really powerful and can even increase energy within the muscles as well. So have a look into that. But breath work is another way to increase energy. It's another source. Right, rule number 7 is light energy. Obviously, this is artificial light in the room, okay? But the most powerful light is obviously what comes from the sun, nature's light. It's got energy in it. That's how you get your vitamin D. You should get out in the sun as much as you can. Well, not as much as you can. Obviously, you can't stay in all day, but it depends where you live. I live in England. It's very cold, so literally as soon as the sun comes out, I'm out. I'm in front of it. Hit me with those rays. It's very powerful for energy, and the way we know this is by countries that don't get a lot of sun are notoriously more miserable. Now, I can't explain what the science is on that. I'm sure someone else might know. You can drop it in the comments if you want. But I remember reading a study about how darker European countries that don't get a lot of sun, I think England's one of them, are notoriously more miserable than, say, countries like Africa or countries like Australia. They're more upbeat, they're more happy. And there's a reason for this. Because they've got more sunlight, more access to that vitamin D. Okay, so get yourself out in the sun whenever it's shining, get out there, get some good skin exposure. Obviously not too much, you don't want to get super burnt, but, you know, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of the conspiracy behind sun cream and all that good stuff, but get out, get some sunlight, okay? Right, rule 8 is food energy. Obviously, you fuel yourself up with food. And are you actually choosing food that fuels you, or are you eating that artificial garbage that man has made that tastes so good for your tongue, but is absolute garbage and gives you no energy, or quick immediate energy that doesn't last? Yes, I'm talking about like chocolate, sugars and crisps and all that garbage. Tastes great on the tongue, but doesn't fuel your body up. But if you want to be super fueled with energy, there are great sources of food out there. And as a rule of thumb, I suggest that you try and pick natural foods. If it's natural and it's not been messed around with, it should be good to eat and give you great fuel as energy. Now, listen, we're going over basics here, but most people don't think about what they're eating, consuming, what they're watching, how much they're sleeping. So this video should hopefully kind of wake you up a little bit to maybe your own habits, your own diet, your own sleep pattern. Okay, so food is very important. I always go with the 80-20 rule because I'm not a bodybuilder. I don't need the perfect life. But what I do want to do is lean towards my best version of myself all the time. So 80% of my diet is quality, wholesome foods. And 20%, maybe after some exercise, can be, you know, that tasty food that's good for the tongue. But at least that way I'm giving myself the best chance to be energized by the food I consume. Right, rule 9 is your thoughts. So we generate our reality by our thoughts, okay? Our mental energy, our frequency that we put out into the world will come back to us. It's an energy source. So if I'm being negative all the time and I feel sorry for myself and acting like a victim, which is the worst thing you can do, then I'm going to get that reflected back to me. I'm going to get victim negative energy back to me. If I wake up and actively choose to be positive, actively try and be positive, be nice to people, speak with confidence, walk with my chest out, then the world will reflect that to me and I will feel energized for it. Even if I'm going through something bad, you can always find the good side of anything. If you're going through something negative, reframe it and say you're going through it for growth and you've been tested for a reason and you will conquer the day. Doesn't matter. Okay? Most people can't do that, but I'm imploring you to try it. Okay? Go through your day, be positive. Your thoughts will reflect back to you. The universe is like a mirror. Okay? Your reality is exactly what your thoughts have made. And if you disagree with that and you don't like that, then that's exactly why that's happening. Okay? If you were to walk through life like I am, you would see that everything is absolutely awesome. That doesn't mean there's not difficult things going on in the world. Okay? I'm not naive to the difficulties of life. But when something difficult is happening, I feel grateful for the challenge. I remain unfazed, as you've heard someone say before. Okay? So make sure your thoughts are aligned with what you want, so you can get that back from the universe. Make sure you're constantly grateful, so the universe can give you more things to be grateful for. If you don't like your job, and you're bored of your job, and you're not doing anything about it, you just keep saying you're bored, well, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to keep being bored in your job, you're going to feel miserable. Okay? So your thoughts will dictate how your reality is going to return back to you. Okay? So think about, obviously we can't always stop at our first thought is, right? I get that. You see a dirty old car, you immediately go, oh, that's a dirty old car, I don't like that. But you can put in the next thought. Okay? So always control your second thought. Try and have good first thoughts, but you can't always control that, but try and control your second thought. Put in how you want to reframe whatever you've just thought, okay? And it takes practice. It's like going to the gym. You need to do this often. Whenever you catch yourself slipping or slacking, you need to correct yourself, reframe it, and get back to creating your reality, right? The next law is physical movement. Now, you've probably heard this before, but if you go for a run, you are more likely to be charged up and full of energy. Now, it sounds counterintuitive because if you run, you'll be tired, your energy should be low. But the point is that sitting around doing nothing all day makes you feel energy less. Unless you're ill, you shouldn't be lying around doing nothing. You should get up, you should move around. Moving gets the brain thinking, gets the juices flowing. This is energy. Okay, there used to be batteries that you used to have to wind up. Well, that's literally your body. Okay? You get your body moving, gets the blood pumping, it gets the energy flowing. Okay, it's pretty basic stuff. You probably know this, but again, you might forget. When you're feeling tired, you might think the last thing you want to do is go running or go do some exercise. But actually, science will back this. If you just go on a walk, your energy will increase. Just moving the body. Again, if you haven't slept the day before and you actually need sleep, that's different. I'm just on about in general throughout the day. If you start to move your body, you will energize up. Okay, Tony Robbins, the famous speaker, he always bounces on a trampoline before he goes out. He gets himself energized. Okay, he does like this little trampoline 10-minute bounce before he goes on stage because it gets him energized to speak to people. Okay, physical movement. So if you aren't going to the gym, you aren't working out every day, you're gonna bring down your energy. Your body wants to move, it's a machine. So charge it up like the battery and get moving. Okay, the longer you sit still, the less chance you have of charging the body up with energy. Bonus rule, because this one works for me, creative energy. What have you created recently? Now obviously I do video edits, but I've always been creative. I think of business ideas, I think of a song, I think of a poem. Back in the day when I was younger, I used to like writing poems. It doesn't matter what it was. I think of a new football trick when I used to play football. I'm always creating. There's always a flow going through me. Okay, when you're in your flow state and you're creating, it's a source of energy because something is coming through you, whether it's a source from somewhere else. We don't need to get metaphysical about it in this video, but when you're being creative, you aren't thinking about everything else which takes your energy. You're creating in the moment. And when you create something, whether it's a drawing, an edit, whatever it is you're doing, when you've finished it, when you're in the process after being in a flow state, you've generated your own energy. Usually you'll look at something, you'll be like, that's pretty cool, or whatever it is you're creating. But by being creative, even if it's just through your thoughts alone and you're visualizing who you want to be, it creates a source of energy because it's as if you're tuning into something else. And again, I'm not going to get too metaphysical about it, but it is my belief that when we're being creative, there is other sources that are tuning in through you, whether that be your religious belief or whatever. And I'm not going to go any further than that. Right, lastly, just to close this up, okay, mastering energy is just like mastering life, okay? All of life is energy. Meeting people is energy, okay? Being physical with your body, what you consume, everything is energy around us. And it's how you approach life which will give you the most energy. You could probably think of someone right now that's always cheery and happy, even maybe when you find it annoying, but there's usually one person in everyone's life where they just always seem to be cheery and happy and have energy, right? You can picture that person now. They are working with these laws of energy better than you are. Or hopefully, maybe you're that person to other people, right? I'd like to think that I am. But if you focus on these frequencies, you can level up your life and generate unlimited amounts of energy. There's no reason for you to not succeed at whatever it is you want to succeed at and feel like you are tired. Focus on these that I've spoken about and uplift your own life and become energetically limitless. Now it's time for you to go add these frequencies to your own energy source right now. So let me know how you get on. And remember, self-hypnosis is the key. And before I leave you, here is that secret knowledge to make sure that you can get to sleep whenever you need to. Okay. Now, besides there being breathing techniques in the army that can obviously shut your brain off and help you go to sleep, my version to help me, because I used to struggle with shutting off because my mind was always wired, and this is what I discovered. You may or may not like the answer. For my brain to be tired enough to switch off and not think about all the $1 million ideas I always have, I have to physically try and exhaust myself. Now, I don't mean climb and run up a mountain every single day, but I noticed a pattern. On the days where I took it slightly easier, so for example, I used to have rest days. I used to try and go to the gym, play football, and I'd give myself like proper full-on rest days where I wouldn't do anything. Maybe walk at the most, but that was it. And I noticed on those days I'd really struggle to sleep. So I kept the journal, and every time I took a rest day, I just couldn't sleep properly. So I decided to take no rest days, because I'm the type of person where my brain's always wired, right? So no more rest days. I did physical activity. Now, it's not always lifting weights at the gym. You can't always do that. You do need to recover your muscles. But I did something. Jogged with the dog. Ran around, went on a treadmill, did some stretches, did some yoga, did some taekwondo, did some kickboxing, did some weightlifting, did some football. I'm always doing something to slightly fatigue my physical body. Sometimes it's harder than others, but you can do a lot more than you think you can. And if you do have the, let's call it the autistic ADHD superpowered brain, as they all like to call it these days, where it just won't switch off and you can't concentrate on anything, then uplift your physical activity. Do more. Go to bed physically tired and your brain will follow. Now I know you're thinking, oh Tyson, sometimes I do lie in bed and I'm physically tired and my brain still won't shut off. Go harder, bro. Trust me, I've figured this out. This works, okay? You don't need to do a David Goggins and run for 100,000 miles, but do it. Increase your activity. Do something that you haven't done. Do some squat lunges. Like, you know it's going to burn like fuck, but it's going to physically exhaust you. Do something to increase your activity, and it will switch your brain off. I've started going to bed feeling physically exhausted, and this means I shut off, and the next day I'm fitter and stronger for it, and I'm re-energized and ready to go, and I'm not sat up at 3 AM at night thinking about $1 million idea that I can't actually act on because I need some fucking sleep. So there you go, there's your answer. Might not have been what you wanted, but it does work. Try and increase your physical activity. You don't need as much physical rest as you think you do. You can do something different. A day off from the gym doesn't mean a day off physical activity, okay? So there you go, the secret sauce is there. Hope it works for you too, because it works for me. Get out there and get stuck in and physically increase your activity. Get out there, boys.